All right. Hi, Carmen, and hi, Emily Knox. Happy New Year.
Hi, Emily Byrne. Happy to be here today.
Hi, Emily. Happy New Year.
Oh my goodness, is it that long of a day already? Sounded so sad.
I'm so sorry.
Thanks so much for taking the time to talk about our latest report on artificial intelligence. We're going to dive in, but before we do, I think it's important to provide some framing for anyone listening to this Q&A. First, Connecticut Voices for Children is a research and advocacy organization working in the state and nationally to advance economic justice. Our Connecticut Families Plan, launched in 2022 and recalibrated this year for the changing landscape, focuses on putting more money in the pockets of hardworking families, growing a strong and diverse workforce, ensuring affordable housing and childcare are accessible in every town across our state, and promoting safe, healthy, and just communities. While the aforementioned foci don't speak to artificial intelligence directly, given the prevalence of AI in our everyday lives and this being an emerging issue of import, we felt it was necessary to dig deeper on the topic. As a tool, AI holds incredible capacity and potential for good. It's been useful to students and teachers, especially classrooms where the learning is through English as a second language. Online platforms have also been helpful in supporting communities of disenfranchised youth to feel a sense of belonging. However, the sector has been largely unregulated, and we're seeing more and more instances that when left unchecked, AI also holds incredible capacity and potential for bad. Technology companies are taking advantage of our data too often without consent, and in one instance that we know of, a 14-year-old boy tragically died by suicide as a result of unregulated AI. Our report is a primer on some of the key challenges and opportunities presented by AI in the context of children's safety and well-being. So to be clear, it is intentionally not an exhaustive unpacking of all the challenges and opportunities. And we want to be careful about what we're presenting, given the limited literature and scholarship on the topic. That said, the runaway train of artificial intelligence requires action now. While we realize that federal steps have the potential to be more comprehensive, Connecticut's children can't wait. That's why states and municipalities often engage in policy development on their own, and the topic of AI should be one of those instances. So, with that said, the first question goes to you, Emily Knox, in 3 sentences or less. What is this report about?
Sure, thanks. This report is a primer exploring the complicated relationship between artificial intelligence, or AI, and kids' safety and well-being. We highlight some of the risks that AI poses to children, thinking in particular about issues related to privacy and data security, and look at how different government entities are addressing these challenges. We then offer practical, actionable policy recommendations aimed at creating a safer, more equitable digital future. The question isn't whether AI will shape our future, but how, and whether we're prepared to steer it towards a future that's fair and just.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't that long ago when we saw AI in the movies 10, 20 years ago, and it was something that we could only imagine. And today when we think about AI, we think about ChatGPT and we talking robots, right? A lot has changed in the course of just a short period of time, 10, 20 years. Carmen, this question is for you. What exactly is AI?
Yeah, thanks, Emily. That's a great question. And you're absolutely right. A lot of people tend to envision AI this way, in part because generative AI, like ChatGPT, has become more common and is pretty easily accessible. But artificial intelligence is more expansive, touching nearly every corner of our lives and influencing outcomes in critical sectors like healthcare, education, employment, and housing. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development uses a widely accepted definition of AI that's meant to encompass the many different forms of artificial intelligence. So they define artificial intelligence as a machine-based system that can, for a given set of human-defined objectives, make predictions, recommendations, or decisions influencing real or virtual environments. So in simplest terms, artificial intelligence is the ability for machines to process information in a way that mimics human decision-making and intelligence. This could include forms of generative AI, like the ones that you mentioned. It can also include simpler tools that we use every day, like spell check and content recommendations. Many forms of AI have also been incorporated into online platforms, social media apps, operating systems, and web browsers. Different kinds of AI are also used to do everything from predicting patient outcomes in medical settings to screening applications for jobs, housing, and loans.
It basically is around us, whether we are aware of it or not.
You're exactly right. It's something that's around us all the time.
With the understanding that we're focused on children and their well-being, can you tell us a little bit about the findings in our report?
In our report, we explore this a little bit. We conduct a high-level exploration of the role that AI plays in our lives, its impact on our children, and the different policies to help govern responsible AI growth that can serve as a blueprint for creating safe digital futures. Our findings illustrate how AI is increasingly influential and has been integrated into many aspects of our everyday lives, reshaping critical sectors with big implications for children's privacy and future opportunities. Our findings also highlight some of the ways AI collects and processes vast amounts of personal data at unprecedented speeds, introducing significant privacy concerns, especially for children. The diverse approaches taken by governments and legislative bodies to address some of these issues demonstrates that comprehensive and thoughtful AI governance is possible, and that Connecticut has the opportunity to be a leader in this space.
So why then does any of this matter?
One of the main things we want people to take away from this paper is that AI regulation is a children's issue. We should center children's rights, privacy, safety, and well-being in the AI conversation because they're the ones who'll be growing up in the world that we create today. This is an important issue because AI technologies are already shaping the world that our children are growing up in, and its influence on their lives will only continue to grow as they do. It's important to understand the scope and impact of AI because it's embedded into our social infrastructure. It's critical to see where and how AI is being used because biases can amplify existing inequalities, disproportionately affecting marginalized communities. And using AI and the data from digital footprints, the platforms that we interact with and even third parties have access to sensitive information that most people would never disclose to a stranger. Finally, AI's growing capability creates significant and underexplored risk to children's well-being. Beyond privacy, there are broader concerns about how AI shapes children's critical thinking skills, their ability to identify misinformation, their ability to make decisions, and the ways that AI can increase their exposure to harmful content. In addition, data breaches involving children's information can have lifelong consequences, impacting everything from educational opportunities to financial stability.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw in our report that 1/3 of 13 to 17-year-olds, report being on social media sites almost constantly every day. And, so the fact these platforms are unchecked is just so scary. I think there's a general consensus that federal laws are generally more comprehensive than state laws, and state laws are more comprehensive than municipal laws. And this is largely due to their reach and impact. Emily Knox, can you talk to us about what's happening at the federal level?
Definitely. So there have been some really key efforts on this from the previous administration at the federal level, like the AI Bill of Rights that was released in 2022. And while that document includes guidelines for safe and ethical AI use, those guidelines are non-binding and not enforceable. So there's really no regulatory mandate there. Likewise, Congress has introduced over 140 AI-related bills, but they vary a lot in both scope and content. And progress at the federal level does tend to move more slowly. So this is a space where states can step up and act more quickly, which is important because this is a field of technology where development is moving really rapidly. So taking action now at the state level helps us get ahead of the risks and ensures we're addressing these challenges before they become bigger problems.
Absolutely. The Connecticut General Assembly debated a bill focused on artificial intelligence last year, which didn't pass. They're going to do this again, I think, this year. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about that bill from last year and maybe talk to us about what some of the other states across the country are doing?
Definitely, I can. So, 2024's SB2, Connecticut's last AI bill, provides a strong foundation and aligns with key aspects of our recommendations from this report. It has a risk-based framework, which includes special provisions for high-risk AI systems and includes measures to mitigate bias through algorithmic discrimination. It also includes provisions addressing emerging challenges like synthetic media and deepfakes. It's already a comprehensive piece of legislation. However, our recommendations build on this framework because we've had the benefit of an additional year of research and of looking to and learning from the approaches taken by other states. Our recommendations incorporate the use of regulatory sandboxes, which we saw enacted in both Utah and Texas in 2024, and includes mechanisms to incentivize ethical AI development, as well as some additional, more targeted safeguards, such as those around consumer protections and election security. So these additions aim to create an approach to AI governance that is maximally robust and forward-thinking.
And so what are we proposing the state do on this front? What are some of our policy recommendations?
Our policy recommendations broadly are focused on creating a robust and comprehensive framework for AI governance that emphasizes transparency, bias mitigation, privacy protections, and support for ethical AI deployment and use. All of our recommendations are geared towards making sure that AI is developed and implemented in a way that serves the public good, protects individual rights, and builds trust in this advancing technology. And Carmen can talk you through on a more granular level what those policy recommendations look like.
Thanks, Emily. So our recommendations include clear disclosure requirements to ensure individuals know when they're interacting with an AI system, plain language guidelines for these disclosures, and accessible opt-out mechanisms that allow users to control how their data is used. We also recommend AI assessments and continuous monitoring to identify and mitigate bias, as well as a permanent working group to oversee AI's impact in our state. We recommend putting in place measures to protect individuals against deepfakes and non-consensual AI content, and creating a system where users are easily able to flag AI misuse. In addition, by adopting a risk-based regulatory approach, we can focus on stricter oversight for high-impact applications while maintaining flexibility for lower-risk uses of AI. The report additionally recommends aligning definitions and standards with international frameworks in order to ensure consistency. And finally, we recommend promoting ethical innovation by offering grants to responsible developers, creating regulatory sandboxes for testing, and promoting educational programs to ensure safe and informed AI use.
Well, Carmen, Emily, thanks so much. Appreciate the conversation and your good work on this report. If you're tuning in to our Just Q&A, we're grateful for you too. Connecticut Voices for Children is a research and advocacy organization. At Voices, we believe that every funding and policy decision should lead us closer to the future we want, which is a fair and just society where all Connecticut children reach their full potential. Our issue areas center research-backed policies that eradicate poverty and advance family economic security. If this better world sounds good to you, we invite you to join the movement by signing up for our email list or making a donation. Links to do both can be found on our website at ctvoices.org.